Hebrews 11:28. It said, through faith, he kept the Passover and the sprinkling of blood. Let's read the other one together. Lest he that destroyed the firstborn. A lot of people undermine the placement of the firstborn because they don't understand that if anything happens to him, it becomes a pattern. Many families are contending with certain unnecessary battles because the firstborn missed it. One of the best things that can happen to you is for your firstborn to be regenerated. If your firstborn takes the order of the old, then the family is under a torture. It said something, lest he that destroyed the firstborn. Hear me, one of the things you must understand that you are a firstborn, there is nothing. It's not your choice. You were born into it. A great man said, where you were born is not your choice, but how you handle the matters of destiny is your choice. That you were born into a poor family, a diabolic family, a demonic family is not your choice. But for you to leave the situation the way you met it, then that's your problem. In Matthew 22:25, the Bible spoke about the family of 7 brothers. The Bible said the first one got married and he died with issues. The second one took over, died with issues. What does that imply? When in a family, the firstborn is not a watchman, certain battles can continue. One of the things you must understand that is most times firstborn children are like scapegoats. They help the parents to carry most of the battles. They inherit battles. There is a transfer in their direction that becomes a battle for them to contend with in destiny. The first man whose name is on the street is the man who bulldozed the road, is the man who uprooted the trees. So that man is the one who suffered for the street to be created. That one lived in darkness until he was able to bring light. But when other persons come, what do? They hang wire on an existing wire. So firstborn are like bulldozers. They create a way, especially when you don't have a father like David. People said to me, Solomon was a man of wisdom. He had peace on every side. Why will he not have peace on every side when the father had wars on every side? David fought battles until God recognized that David's hands were full with blood. Some of us, we didn't have parents that were supposed to have fought for us, and we are scapegoats today in our destiny. We are going through what we are going through. We can't explain what the battles are. Some of us, our battles can be connected to parental inheritance. You have inherited something that is not conforming with your destiny. I heard the story of a particular young man who was not doing badly, but suddenly things began to nosedive, and then he was having dreams of the visiting of masquerade. One of the greatest problems any firstborn can have is to be a bad student of family history. To an extent, I knew my father, I knew my mother, I had an understanding of certain histories in the life of my parents. I have an understanding of history. The Bible says, for the truth you know shall make you free. For a first child to live a life of ignorance is to suffer what the father suffered. I heard the story of I was talking of somebody who, as it were, things began to go nosedive. He's a firstborn, and then somehow he began to have dreams of the visiting of masquerade. He was not in this country, he was abroad, and then somehow, so he had to run to a covering who was able to give him an interpretation. May the day of your confusion, may you find an ally who can give you direction. Because listen to me, many destinies are ruined. Many have missed their placement in destiny because they met the wrong counselor. It was Ella that said to Samuel, I perceive that God is talking to you. He said, the next time you hear the voice, say what? Speak, Lord, for thy servant. And the man of God began to talk to the young man, and the young man said he's a firstborn. His great grandfathers were idol worshippers. He said his father was attending a church where they don't take seriously spirituality, where religiosity is the order of the day. So the father somehow was operating in that direction quietly. So when he came into the scene, he completely disconnected from that thing. Listen, Galatians 4:1 said, as long as the heir is a child, it differeth not from what? A slave. So what does that imply? The guy was claiming to be a Christian, but he was not a Christian. Had the story of a man wake up one morning, just carry a load from America, say they go home. They tried to hold him, nobody could stop him. Resign from job. Everybody, they preached to him. That was how he carried his load, boarded the flight, landed in Nigeria, took another flight straight to the village, and got to the village, started drinking palm wine, sitting under a tree. He was called. I'm not a sacrificial, but Jesus was a sacrificial lamb. He died for us. I'm not a scapegoat. Let me say some things to us. Number one, I want to talk on under I'm not a scapegoat. Number one is the manipulated firstborn. One of the devices of the devil that he uses to project failure and struggle in the life of firstborns is manipulation. Papa said something I cannot forget in a hurry. He said, a man under manipulation acts in foolishness, thinks he's wise. There is nothing you will tell that man who carried his bag all the way from the States and say he's going home. They persuaded him, they convinced him. The more they talk, the more they get confused, because there was a power of manipulation at work. Most times, firstborn children are manipulated against their fathers. And the greatest undoing of firstborn is to have disagreement with parents. Any first child that can build a relationship with parents relatively, especially when your parents are of God, you escape this thing to an extent. That's why you will always see firstborn son and the father quarreling. Now the thing we 1 year now make the fight with the papa.